influence, to change the world, to impact the world. And I'm still stuck on Nehemiah, so let's talk about it. But first, I do want to read out of our devotional this morning. I'm not one that just like keeps going back to devotionals and reading from them, but this one has been really good. And I don't know if everyone's bought it. Heather, I think you bought this one. I'm not sure, but it's February 25th. I'm on the 23rd. Let's go to the 25th. Okay. So Isaiah 43:2. Oh, hold on. I see a comment. Why is that? Like, that's weird. The comments are weird right now. He's taken me slowly through just starting. I had to see your struggle and authenticity to be okay with my path. Yeah, I know. I know. A lot of people are like that. Why is the comments are really weird on Substack? Um, they're like half like transparent. So strange. Anyways, yeah, no, a lot of people have had to do that. And here we are. Here we are, and I have a lot of conversations with people, and I had to go through the struggle to be able to counsel and help people that are called to this. But yeah, it has been a conversation that has been had a lot. I had it last night even, and I'm praying that it shifted my friend's point of view on influencing. And it's not consumerism. It's not, look at me, look at me, look at me, like me, 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 me. I'm drawing attention to me. That's not what it's like. It's on purpose, with purpose. But I had to go through a lot of things too. I had to have some stuff broken off of me. I thought that, the whole attention seeking thing. Anyways, I've gone through it too, right? Um, all right, so let's get into this. All right, February 25th in Hearing His Voice devotional, 365 days of hearing God, basically. Let's see. Days of intimate communication with God. One of these days, I might remember the title, but don't hold me to that. I have a piece of fuzz on my lip. All right. In Isaiah 43:2, it says, the Lord said, when you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, the flames will not consume you. From the heart of the Father, I never promised that you wouldn't go through deep waters, rivers of difficulty, or fires of oppression. I have promised, however, that I will be with you and bring you through. You need to understand the difference. When you encounter trials, even painful or difficult ones, don't think I've let you down. I'm with you even in the midst of them. Many people think I've broken my promises when they encounter unexpected or traumatic crises. Let me say that again because we've all been there. Many people think I've broken my promises when they encounter unexpected or traumatic crises. Then they let those disappointments color everything I say to them in the future. They don't trust my words because, after all, I seem to have let them down last time. But I never let anyone down who trusts me. Yes, you experienced pain. No, it didn't overcome you. You made it through because of me. Many people believe that my voice will make their lives easier. It does make your life stronger and deeper, but it will rarely make things simpler for you. You'll be led into battles and intense situations that need my touch. You will always be given the best instructions, but seldom the easiest ones. I will lead you into the places of greatest need in this world because you heard and responded to me, qualifying, your, qualifying yourself to be my instrument in those places. I speak strength and encouragement into your heart because you will need them. Don't lower your expectations for what you might hear from me. Raise them higher. You will go on great. You will go on great but challenging adventures, and I will be with you in all of them. And this is what the prayer is. Honestly, Lord, your ways scare me a little. but they also excite me. I'm trying to go oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to start this over again. Honestly, Lord, your ways scare me a little, but they also excite me. I am willing to go anywhere and do anything as long as I know you are with me. This is really good. It goes right hand in hand with what he was showing me this morning. And that right there is amazing to me. I don't know about you, but I love when he confirms with this random thing. Yeah, he knew I was probably going to read this. Obviously, I have free will. I could have changed it up a bit, but I didn't. And so, February 25th, I'm going to read this. There was a chance I wasn't going to, but he was so in this. Like, this confirms exactly what I was hearing. And do you know what that does for me? Well, it strengthens my faith that I hear him. That's what we've been talking about, is discerning the voice of God. I started this live talking about how my computer almost crashed yesterday with a chance to do this presentation yesterday, that it was just kind of, it plopped in my lap. Um, awesome. Uh, it was one of those moments where I'm like, only he just revealed himself to me through that, being able to present on this Zoom, this workshop that this person was putting on. And I was so excited about it, and my computer almost crashed. And it wasn't, I started like rebuking things off of it, and I heard God say, "What? Is it the enemy?" And I was like, "Oh, see, I had been saying and thinking it was me for weeks now. I need to clean off, like, my drive, my hard drive on my computer. I need to clean off my hard drive. I need to, do that." Well, I didn't do that. And then over the weekend, I produced enough content for a blog site that I was building, enough content for 3 years. And it was all sitting on my hard drive. And guess what my computer did? Well, it absolutely did not want to work yesterday. Well, because it had, not only did it have all these months of files that I had been like collecting and not taking the time to clean them off, but now it had 3 years of blogs and AI images and all kinds of stuff sitting on the hard drive. And yeah. And so when it came time to present on that thing, my computer didn't want to cooperate. I don't know what's going to come of it. Um, if nothing does come of it, that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. All things work together for the good. But I can guarantee I'll probably listen, or I might even implement a clean out your hard drive day once a month or something like that, where I need to just absolutely clean up my digital space here so that doesn't happen again. But here we are. Anyways, I say all of that to say that God is really great about confirming his word. And even in those situations, I could have felt shame. I wanted to. I really, really combated that yesterday about that, because I felt like I didn't even just let myself down, I let others down in that. And the one that was presenting, another, one of my like um, business kind of partners and things like that. And whatever, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It happens. Um, so we're talking about discerning the voice of God. We're talking about this influencing thing. We're talking about God and great trust in us. He qualifies us. What else did this say? He qualifies us. I never promised you that you wouldn't go through deep waters. So I don't know about you, but like yesterday could have been Well, in a past life, that could have told me, oh, well, God didn't want me to do that anyways, right? My lack of cleaning up my hard drive when I had been saying it for probably months, but we're going to just go on weeks at that point, um, and not doing it. But then it led to this like, oh my gosh, my computer reactive thing. Um, that I would have taken that as a like a sign from God. But see, the closer you get to his heartbeat and the closer like and the more you spend time with him and not looking at him as an oracle or like a checklist, you recognize those things in your life, and you also get to the point where surrendering is a little easier when you make mistakes like that. Surrendering and compassion for yourself, because see, God has compassion for us. But I want to like let's focus on the influencing part, because see, here's the thing, I talk to so many people throughout the week. But yesterday it was just like one after the other, where people think influencing means consumerism. It means opening up to everyone and sharing everything. And it's not like that. Um, but God does call people into influencing, and He's been doing it since the beginning of time. And it's all written down in a book we call the Bible, that He calls people to change and to incite change and to rally the troops and to positively impact in a way that you're still human, still. Your humanness still shows through. You still make mistakes. And in the time of Nehemiah, I want to go back to Nehemiah being the cupbearer of a Persian king. He was the cupbearer of the Persian king, Artaxerxes. I probably just butchered the name, but he was the cupbearer to Artaxerxes. Okay. And that meant that he was in a position of great trust, influence, and responsibility in the royal court. See, the role of the cupbearer went beyond simply tasting the king's wine for poison. That's what the cupbearer was. It wasn't just bearing a cup, he had to taste for poison. It was a high ranking, prestigious office that granted the bearer close access to the king. See, the king had to trust him too. The king had to trust Nehemiah. It was a unique position of intimacy and advisory influence in the Persian Empire. Do y'all hear this? See, Nehemiah didn't just get a whim to go build a wall. He was already placed in a position of authority, of influence, of advisory to the powers that be in that kingdom. Okay. So here's some of his responsibilities: wine and food tasting for poison. All right. So the primary duty of cupbearer was to ensure the king's drink was not poisoned. This required an immense amount of trust from the king, as a betrayal could mean death. See, Nehemiah had the power of life and death right there for for King Artaxerxes. I probably need to just quit saying his name and just say the king. Um, so he tasted the wine and food for poison. Number two, he was the royal confidant and advisor. You can't trust somebody to not betray you with your food and drink and not trust them to advise you. There's that I would think that that was a covenant relationship, I would think. I don't know about you. But see, due to the cupbearer's daily presence, because he's there to protect the king, basically. They often served as a trusted advisor, or at least they had the monarch's ear. Y'all do realize that Nehemiah like lived in the time period that Esther did too. And Esther had the monarch's ear too. I don't I don't know. I think Artaxerxes might have been. Let's look. Let me look real quick. That's a really, interesting thought. Who was Artaxerxes in relation to Esther and the king? Let's see. Okay, so Artaxerxes was most likely the stepson or son of Queen Esther. All right. So are we like the influence, right? Because Esther was the queen of Xerxes. I knew that. And that's what, like, I was like, okay, but who is Artaxerxes? Either the son or the stepson. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Do y'all hear this? Like, are you getting this? God puts people in places of influence, but I wonder what it took for Nehemiah to step into that cupbearer. What did what did he have to endure? And that might be something that we have to look at. But it wasn't just what did he have to endure to get there? What did he have to endure when he got there? And then we talk about he wrote the book of Nehemiah in a way that we see that he had to, there was so much stuff he had to go through to even get the wall built. It wasn't just him, it was the people of Jerusalem. All right. So number three, so he was royal confidant and advisor. Number three, gatekeeper of access to the king. He was the gatekeeper of access to the king. Do y'all, oh my gosh, this is so, like, so many, it's so deep. Like, there is depth here. We might have to, this might be just, yeah, we're gonna just be studying Nehemiah now. Now that we've heard the voice of God, we're discerning the voice of God. Now it's time to just let's go deep into the Nehemiah story. Gatekeeper of access to the king, because of the cupbearer's proximity, they could control or influence who had access to the king, making them a politically significant figure. Number four, high social and political status. Many cupbearers in ancient courts were wealthy, educated, and well connected, often wielding power and favor among the king's officials. He wasn't a lowly servant in the king's court. He was of high esteem, highly regarded, diplomatic and administrative roles too. This is number five. In some cases, cupbearers had a responsibility beyond their ceremonial duties, such as handling confidential matters, assisting in governance, or relaying royal decrees. I have heard a lot of people in the and I've used this term too in the charismatic movement, but armor bearer. I would go beyond that and say that some people are called to be cupbearers. Some people are called to be cupbearers. And are we called to be cupbearers of, here's the question, of other people? Or are we called to be cupbearers of God? And not in the way that we have to advise God, but that we have his ear and he has ours. It's an intimate relationship. Maybe that's what we need to be studying is like how do we stay in that place of intimacy with the Father, knowing that he can trust us. We're so conditioned to believe that we're just this lowly sinner. But see, God has great things for us, and he has to be able to trust us with that. And in order to trust us with that, we have to spend time with him. We have to learn his character. We have to have that intimate relationship with him. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up, but I just wanted to, yeah, like this is pretty powerful. Thanks for going through this with me, Heather, today. Would you agree though, Nehemiah, we need to dig deep, and maybe perhaps we are meant to be cupbearers for some. I think that there's some humility in in that too, to learn to be a cupbearer. But see, it's not just humility, it's learning to be able to trust others. I was reminded again last night that I have a hard time being in public, not just being in public, but I have a hard time trusting other people's intentions towards me. A lot of things fell off of me during that mental illness in 2023, but I s- there still remains a lot of after effect to it too. And maybe perhaps that's the thing God's trying to show me, is that there are people I can trust. It's just learning to discern that too. So, anyways, but learning to discern that, you still have to have, not still, you absolutely have to stay close to the Father. You have to know who's for you. You have to know who he puts in your path and what is put there as a distraction. Because Nehemiah's story talks a lot about distraction and what could be too. So, yep, that's what we're doing. It just keeps coming up, and we're going to do it. I am hyper focused on this. And so Nehemiah's position as a cupbearer to King Artaxerxes the first of Persia reigned. He reigned for 40 years. 41 actually, from 465 BC to 424 BC. And it placed him, and this is for Nehemiah, it placed Nehemiah in a strategic position to influence the king's decision. It's amazing to me that we don't, it's amazing to me that when we even look at like the story of Esther, and maybe it's not a we, maybe it's a me, and maybe that was exactly what we needed at that time, but it seems so surface. These stories, they seem almost um fairy tale like, and it's just, whatever. But the thing is that it's not fairy tale like. These people really did exist. I'm physically reacting to you, like you can see me. That's funny. That's funny. This is so strange how I really wish that the comments didn't look like that. That's fine. Um, yeah, like I can just imagine you're like, yes, that's where we're going. Yeah. And you're excited. You're excited with me because I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this because see, that's just it. It becomes real. And their impact, I need y'all. If it's only Heather today on live, but whoever listens to this, I need you to hear this. Their impact, their influence, their decision to be obedient in the position that God called them to, their decision to be obedient in the face of fear is impacting the world still today. And it wasn't because of their want or desire to be seen, basically, right? For their own sake. They didn't want to be seen for their own sake. They humbled themselves in the position that they were in and utilized the influence they had. How many other, it just makes me wonder, like, how many other people could have God put in that position? But see, if that person wasn't to be trusted, they could have easily been swayed into not influencing or impacting the world the way that Esther did, the way that Nehemiah did, the way that Jeremiah did, the way that Isaiah did. I mean, I can go through all. I probably can't actually go through all the prophets, but like Elijah was part of this too, y'all. I'm pretty sure he was in this. It might have been Ezekiel. I'll have to look. But let's look. I think it might be right here. Maybe not. No, I don't have it right here with me, but all of these people were in these few generations that we're talking about from the exile, the Persia, like they were in Babylon, then the Persian king came and conquered them, and that was Cyrus, and then we had and then we had Esther and we had Ezekiel, I believe, is I don't know. Anyways, it might have been Elijah. Somewhere in there, we had all of these prophets rise up, but God put them in these places of petition, I guess, but of this position of influence. And you don't think he does that now? I am literally sitting in the middle of a cotton field. I'm literally sitting in the middle of a cotton field right now. And some people might think that just me saying I have influence is a trigger that, oh, she's so prideful. No, I'm not prideful. It's come at a cost, a really, really hard cost in a lot of ways. This influence, this position, this I will follow you, Lord. This yes has come at great costs. Is it worth it? Yeah. Does it hurt? Sure does. Is it exciting? Sure is. It's also a place that I thank him for every single day. When even when my computer wants to act up or whatever it is, that opposition comes, I thank him for the position he's put me in because it's the people that I talk to one on one in groups, in Zoom rooms, that it's just amazing to me where he has me. It humbles me constantly because I know that it's him, but I also understand it's me too. I have to make that decision. And he has to be able to trust me to give me more, to not just give me more, but to trust me with more. And I know he has so much more for me. Does he for you? And I'm not saying all of this because it might not be time for you to step up and step out, but maybe he's preparing you to. Eric said something last night, and I said, well, I said, you notice that because you need to prepare for that. If I learned anything yesterday, that's what I learned. I knew I needed to clean out my hard drive for months. And I thought that was my own thinking, but it was God preparing me for something and I didn't listen. But there's mercy and love and lessons in that too. I'm going to leave you with this. Nehemiah's status as cupbearer enabled him to speak directly to the king, which is a very rare privilege. Secure royal support and resources for rebuilding that wall, and obtain letters of passage and military protection for his journey. You can't tell me God didn't put Nehemiah in that position to do what Nehemiah did. And Nehemiah actually, his heart broke for the people of Jerusalem. And he fell down to his knees and prayed to God, and God answered him and said, if it's on your heart to do it, then it's yours to do. And I think a lot of us think that if we're just intercessory prayer, and sometimes he just keeps breaking our heart, keeps poking at our chest, keeps putting it on our mind because it was always meant to be ours. And we're not just supporting figures in this thing we call life. Nehemiah's role shows how God positions his people in places of influence for his purpose. Just Despite being in exile, Nehemiah's faithfulness in a secular role ultimately led to divine favor and restoration of God's people. That right there, oh my gosh, that right there gives me so much hope. I thought ministry was in the church. The only place I could be ministering to people is because I was in a ministry or a part of a ministry. And right there, despite being in exile, Nehemiah's faithfulness in a secular role ultimately led to divine favor and restoration of God's people. He has called me to minister outside of the church and not necessarily to even believers. And wow, 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 wow. It also highlights the principle of leadership and servanthood as Nehemiah not only served the king with excellence, but also led the people of Jerusalem with courage and determination. Okay, here we go. Let me remind you who my Jesus is. Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you for today. Thank you for encouraging me, showing up every single day. And I have not spent a morning alone, Lord. So I will just keep going. I will keep going. I will quit um, questioning it. And even if, even when, even though, even if I do this alone one of these days, does not mean that you um, forsake. Like there's no forsaking there. You'll still show up. Whoever needs to hear it will hear it. In Psalms 32, 8 and 9, I hear the Lord saying, I will stay close to you, instructing and guiding you along the pathway for your life. I will advise you along the way and lead you forth with my eyes as your guide. So don't make it difficult. Don't be stubborn when I take you where you've not been before. Don't make me tug you and pull you along. Just come with me. Love y'all. See you tomorrow.